Have you ever felt lost when listening to native English speakers? The words sound fast, connected, and confusing. Stay with me today, you'll finally understand. Hello, my English learners. Welcome. I am so happy to have you here today. Whether you're listening while walking, driving, cooking, or just relaxing, I want to say thank you for joining me in this podcast. It means a lot to me, and I'm excited to help you on your English learning journey. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something that many English learners struggle with: understanding native speakers. I know it can be tough, especially when native speakers talk so quickly, use slang, or speak in ways that can be confusing. You might be asking yourself, why is it so hard for me to understand English speakers? Or how do I keep up with their conversations? Don't worry, my friend, you are not alone. Many learners feel the same way. But here's the good news. You can definitely improve your ability to understand native speakers. And in today's episode, I'm going to help you step by step. We'll break everything down, and I'll share some powerful tips that will make it easier for you to understand native speakers. You'll also feel more confident in your English listening skills. So, let's begin. First, let's talk about why understanding native speakers can be difficult. You might think that just knowing the vocabulary or grammar rules is enough. But that's not the whole story. Understanding spoken English, especially from native speakers, is different because of things like speed, accents, slang, and connected speech. Don't worry if those words sound confusing right now. We're going to talk about all of them. Why is it so hard to understand native speakers? Have you ever had a conversation with a native English speaker and felt completely lost? You might have caught a few words here and there, but the rest of it seemed like a blur. This is very common. It happens for a few reasons. First, native speakers often speak quickly, and they don't always pronounce words clearly. They might blend words together, drop sounds, or use contractions like I'm instead of I am, which can make it hard to understand. For example, when native speakers say gonna instead of going to, or wanta instead of want to, it sounds different from textbooks or lessons. Second, accents and dialects can make it more challenging to understand different English speakers. English is spoken worldwide, and every region has its own way. Whether it's the American accent, the British accent, the Australian accent, or any other, each has unique sounds, pronunciation, and rhythm. When you're listening to someone with an accent that's different from what you're used to, it can feel like another language. Another reason why understanding native speakers is tough is that they often use slang and informal language. Slang words and phrases are common in conversations, but they are not usually taught in traditional English classes. For example, if someone says, "What's up?" they're not asking about the weather. They're just saying, "Hello," or "How are you?" Understanding these casual expressions is essential if you want to keep up with native speakers. Lastly, there's something called connected speech. This is when words are pronounced together so closely that it's hard to separate them. For instance, when a native speaker says, "I'm going to go," the words are linked together, and it might sound shorter and faster. If you're not familiar with this, it can make listening to fast speech challenging. But don't worry, all of these things are normal. Native speakers do not always speak perfectly, and with practice, you'll be able to understand them more clearly. It takes time, but it's possible. And in today's episode, we're going to go over some practical tips and techniques to help you improve. Tip 1. Listen to real conversations. One of the best ways to get better at understanding native speakers is to listen to real conversations. This means listening to people speaking naturally, not just recordings of slow or scripted speech. Why? Because native speakers don't speak like textbooks. They speak quickly, use slang, and connect their words together in ways that might be new to you. So, how can you do this? Start by listening to podcasts or YouTube videos in English. Choose topics that interest you, whether it's about sports, cooking, or travel. The more you listen to natural conversations, the better you will get at understanding how native speakers talk. Here's a helpful tip. Don't focus too much on understanding every single word. Instead, try to understand the general meaning of the conversation. The goal is to get used to the speed and rhythm of natural speech. If you don't understand a word, that's okay. Just keep listening and try to catch the main idea. Also, don't be afraid to rewind and listen again. It's completely normal to need to hear something more than once. Over time, your brain will get used to the sounds and patterns. you'll begin to understand more. Tip 2. Pay attention to accents. As I mentioned earlier, there are many different English accents. Each one has its own unique pronunciation and rhythm. The way people speak in London sounds different from New York or Sydney. If you're struggling to understand a particular accent, it's important to practice with that specific accent. If you know you'll be speaking with people from a region like the United States or the UK, focus on that accent. For example, you could watch television shows or movies that feature characters from that region, or listen to podcasts with speakers from that area. The more exposure you get to a particular accent, the easier it will be to understand. And remember, don't get discouraged. If you can't understand everything right away, it takes time. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Tip 3. Focus on the key words. When native speakers talk, they often speak quickly. But don't worry if you miss a few words. The key to understanding is to focus on the important words in a sentence. Native speakers often leave out small words like is, are, or the. They may also shorten them in casual speech. These small words are important for grammar, but they don't always change the overall meaning. Instead of stressing about understanding every word, try to focus on the key words that carry the meaning. These are usually nouns, names of things or people, verbs, action words, and adjectives describing words. For example, if someone says, "I'm going to the store to buy some groceries," you don't need to worry about to or some. Just focus on store, buy, and groceries. That will help you get the main idea. You can practice this by listening to a conversation and trying to pick out the most important words. Then try to summarize what the conversation was about in your own words. This technique will help you improve your understanding of native speakers, especially when they speak fast or use unfamiliar vocabulary. Tip 4. Use subtitles. If you're watching movies, television shows, or YouTube videos, use subtitles to help you understand what's being said. Subtitles are especially helpful because they allow you to see the words as you hear them, which helps you match spoken words with written text. This is a great way to improve both your listening and reading skills. Here's a useful strategy. Start with subtitles in your native language if you need extra help. Once you feel comfortable, switch to English subtitles. This will allow you to see the exact words being spoken in English, and it will help you get used to how they sound. Eventually, you can challenge yourself by watching without subtitles at all. This will help you focus more on listening and understanding. One thing to remember is that not all subtitles are perfect. Sometimes they don't match exactly what the speakers are saying. This happens especially with slang or informal language. But don't worry, just keep listening and use subtitles as a guide, not as a crutch. Over time, you'll start to understand more without needing them. Tip 5. Break the speech into chunks. When you're listening to a native speaker, it can feel overwhelming because they speak in long sentences without stopping. But the truth is, native speakers tend to break their speech into smaller chunks. This is especially true in conversations. Speakers often pause between ideas or phrases. To improve your understanding, practice by breaking the speech into chunks. When you listen to a sentence, try to identify the natural pauses. For example, I went to the store and then I saw my friend and we decided to grab some coffee. There are clear breaks between I went to the store, I saw my friend, and we decided to grab some coffee. These are natural breaks in speech that can make it easier for you to understand. You can practice by listening to a short conversation and pausing it after each chunk. Try to understand the meaning of each part before moving on to the next one. This will help you process information in smaller pieces, making it easier to understand fast speech. Tip 6. Shadowing. Now, let's talk about a technique called shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say immediately, trying to match their speed, rhythm, and pronunciation. It's like you're their shadow, copying every word. This is a powerful technique because it trains both your ears and mouth. By listening to and repeating the sentences you hear, you'll become more familiar with how native speakers speak. You'll also improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation, which are important for understanding spoken English. To get started with shadowing, choose a short video or audio clip that features natural speech. Listen to a sentence or two, then pause and repeat exactly what you heard. Try to copy the way the speaker says each word, paying attention to their tone and stress. This will help you sound more natural and make it easier to understand other speakers who talk the same way. Don't worry if you can't keep up at first. Shadowing takes practice, and it's okay if you don't get everything right immediately. Keep practicing, and over time, your understanding of native speakers will improve. Tip 7. Practice listening to different accents. As mentioned earlier, accents can make it harder to understand native speakers, but this doesn't mean you should avoid them. In fact, the more you expose yourself to different accents, the better you'll become at understanding a variety of English speakers. Start by listening to a range of accents from different regions or countries. You could listen to British, American, Australian, or even African English accents. Each has its own unique sounds and pronunciations. By practicing with different accents, you'll train your brain to understand English in many different ways. If you're not sure where to start, try watching television shows or movies from different countries. For example, watch a British movie, then an American one, then an Australian one. Listen carefully to how the characters speak and notice any differences in their pronunciation. Over time, you'll find it easier to understand people from different parts of the world. Tip 8. Slow down the speed. If you're struggling to keep up with native speakers, there's no harm in slowing things down. Many podcasts, YouTube videos, and audiobooks allow you to adjust the playback speed. Start by listening at a slower speed, and as you get more comfortable, gradually increase the speed. By slowing things down, you'll be able to catch more words and understand the tone and rhythm more clearly. Once you feel confident at a slower pace, challenge yourself by increasing the speed little by little. This gradual process will help you keep up with faster native speakers in the future. Tip 9. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. Remember, it's okay to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. Native speakers are usually very understanding and will be happy to repeat what they said or explain it differently. Don't be embarrassed if you don't understand. Everyone has been there. If you're in a conversation and you didn't catch something, just say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "I didn't quite understand. Could you explain it differently?" Most people will appreciate that you're trying to improve your English, and they'll be happy to help. Tip 10. Use context clues. One of the best ways to understand native speakers is to use context clues. When you're listening, the situation, the topic, and even the body language of the speaker can give you useful information. Sometimes, if you don't understand a specific word or phrase, try to figure it out based on the overall meaning of the conversation. For example, if you're in a conversation about food and someone says, "I'm going to grab a bite," you can guess the meaning. Even if you're not sure about the exact meaning of bite, you know they're talking about eating. Context clues are little hints in the conversation that help you fill in the gaps when you don't understand every word. This technique works in many situations, not just with food or daily life topics. For example, if you're listening to a story and someone says, "The car broke down and we had to call for a tow," you can guess that tow means help with moving the car to a repair shop, even if you don't know the exact definition. Over time, your brain will become better at picking up on these clues, and understanding native speakers will become easier. Tip 11. Be patient with yourself. It's important to be patient when learning to understand native speakers. Language learning is a process, and it takes time to adjust to different speeds, accents, and speech patterns. It's normal to feel like you're not understanding everything right away, but don't let that discourage you. Remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight. Every time you listen to a native speaker, you're making progress, even if you don't notice it. The key is to keep practicing and pushing yourself. Over time, your brain will recognize the sounds and structures of spoken English. This will make understanding easier. If you ever feel frustrated, take a break and remind yourself how far you've come. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Celebrate small victories like understanding a sentence you couldn't before or catching a new word. These small wins add up, and before you know it, you'll be more comfortable understanding native speakers. Tip 12. Practice with listening comprehension exercises. If you're looking for a structured way to improve listening skills, these exercises are a great option. Many apps, websites, and books offer recordings with questions based on what you hear. These exercises are designed to help you practice understanding different types of spoken English, from conversations to news broadcasts. They also help you focus on listening for specific information, which is useful in real conversations. You can find listening comprehension exercises at different difficulty levels. Start with one that matches your skills and gradually increase the challenge. These exercises will not only improve your ability to understand native speakers, but also train you to listen for details. This is very important in real-world communication. Tip 13. Improve your vocabulary. The more words you know, the easier it will be to understand native speakers. If you're only familiar with basic vocabulary, it can be hard to keep up with fast conversations, especially when idioms or slang appear. One way to improve is to learn new words daily. Make a list of words you encounter while listening, watching, or reading, then check their meanings. Focus on words commonly used in everyday conversations. Over time, you'll recognize more words and phrases when native speakers use them. Another useful method is learning collocations, which are groups of words often used together. For example, instead of just learning the word make, learn phrases like make a decision, make a mistake, or make an effort. This helps you understand how words naturally fit together in conversations. Tip 14. Get comfortable with idiomatic expressions. Native speakers often use idioms in casual conversations, and they can be confusing if you're not familiar with them. An idiom is a phrase whose meaning is different from the literal meaning of the words. For example, it's raining cats and dogs doesn't mean animals are falling from the sky. It means it's raining heavily. Idioms might be difficult at first, but they are an important part of natural speech. To get comfortable, start by learning common idioms. You can do this by listening carefully and noting phrases you don't understand. Look them up and practice using them in your own speech. Over time, you'll recognize idioms more easily, and your ability to understand native speakers will improve. Tip 15. Practice active listening. Active listening means fully focusing on the speaker instead of just passively hearing the words. When you listen actively, you pay attention to the speaker's tone, body language, and context, which makes the meaning clearer. You can practice by paraphrasing what the speaker says in your own words. This is a great way to check understanding. If you can repeat what you've heard accurately, it means you understood the message. Active listening also means not interrupting the speaker. Let them finish their thought before responding. This helps you catch all details and makes it easier to understand the full message. Tip 16. Join conversation groups. One of the best ways to improve listening and speaking skills is by joining conversation groups. These groups let you practice real-world conversations with other learners or even native speakers. You can find groups online or in person depending on where you live. Many apps, websites, and social platforms host online groups where you can practice English with learners from around the world. These groups give you a chance to practice listening to different accents in a relaxed, non-judgmental environment. Plus, you can get feedback from others, which helps improve listening and speaking abilities. When you participate, focus not only on speaking, but also on listening actively. Make sure you understand what others are saying before responding. This will help you get comfortable with the speed of real conversations and improve your ability to understand native speakers. Tip 17. Focus on stress and intonation. In English, stress and intonation can change the meaning of a sentence. Stress refers to which syllables or words are emphasized. Intonation refers to the rise and fall of the voice. These are important parts of spoken English, and they can sometimes make understanding tricky. For example, I didn't say you stole my book can mean different things depending on which word is stressed. If you stress I, it suggests someone else might have said it. If you stress say, it suggests you didn't speak those words. To improve, listen to native speakers and notice which words they stress in sentences. Also, notice how the pitch of their voice rises and falls. You can practice by repeating sentences and copying stress and intonation. This helps you understand the natural rhythm of English and improves your ability to follow conversations. Tip 18. Use transcripts and listen again. Sometimes it's helpful to use transcripts to understand what native speakers are saying. Many podcasts, YouTube videos, and audio resources offer transcripts showing the exact words being spoken. You can use these transcripts to follow along while you listen. Here's a great practice method. First, listen to the conversation or audio without the transcript. Try to catch as much as you can. After listening, check the transcript to see what you missed. Then listen again while reading along with the transcript. This helps you connect the sounds you hear with the words you see, making it easier to understand spoken English in the future. Once you're comfortable, try listening again without the transcript. Notice how much more you understand compared to the first time. Over time, you'll rely less on transcripts and understand more just by listening. Tip 19. Learn to recognize fillers. Native speakers often use filler words in conversations. These are words or sounds that don't add much meaning but fill pauses or give the speaker time to think. Some common fillers in English are and like. At first, these fillers can be distracting or confusing, making the conversation sound less clear. But don't worry, fillers are normal in everyday speech, and they're often used to keep conversations flowing. Recognizing them helps you focus more on the important parts of what's being said. The key is not to get distracted by fillers. Instead, focus on the main points of the conversation. Once you start noticing fillers, you can filter them out and concentrate on the content. Tip 20. Watch TED Talks and other educational videos. If you're looking for clear, high-quality English speech, TED Talks are excellent. TED Talks feature speakers from all over the world discussing interesting and thought-provoking topics. Speakers usually talk clearly and at a moderate pace, making it easier for learners to follow along. You can start by watching TED Talks with English subtitles, just like movies or television shows. Once you feel more confident, try watching without subtitles to improve your listening skills. Most TED Talks also offer transcripts, so you can follow along, learn vocabulary, and practice listening. The topics are often engaging and expose you to a wide range of vocabulary and ideas. By watching regularly, you'll improve your listening skills and ability to understand complex ideas in English. Tip 21. Focus on practical vocabulary. When trying to understand native speakers, it helps to focus on practical vocabulary used in everyday conversations. While advanced words are useful, most daily conversations use common phrases. By focusing on these practical words, you'll understand more of what's being said in real conversations. Start with vocabulary related to daily activities, such as food, travel, work, hobbies, and shopping. Practice using these words in sentences so you can recognize them quickly when you hear them. This will help you feel more comfortable in everyday conversations and make it easier to follow what others say. Tip 22. Listen to different types of audio. To improve your understanding of native speakers, listen to different styles of spoken English. You can listen to news broadcasts, interviews, podcasts, radio shows, and YouTube videos. Each exposes you to different speaking styles and vocabulary, helping you become more versatile in listening. For example, news broadcasts use more formal language, while podcasts or YouTube videos are usually casual and conversational. By mixing different sources, you'll get a well-rounded sense of how English is used. Tip 23. Keep a listening journal. One helpful way to improve listening skills is keeping a journal. Write down new words, phrases, and expressions you hear when listening to native speakers. Also, make notes about the context where they were used and how the speaker said them. Tracking difficult words or phrases will help you focus on learning them. You can also practice using these words in your own sentences to reinforce memory. This will grow your vocabulary and improve your ability to understand native speakers over time. Tip 24. Use technology and apps. Today, many apps and tools can help you improve your listening skills anytime, anywhere. They make practice easier to fit into your daily life. Some popular apps include Duolingo, Babbel, and Memrise, which focus on vocabulary and listening comprehension. They often feature audio clips and quizzes to test your understanding of spoken English. Another useful app is Anki, a flashcard tool for memorizing new words and phrases you hear. But it's not just language apps that help. Podcast apps like Apple Podcasts give access to a wide range of English content. Whether you enjoy news, interviews, or stories, these apps provide endless opportunities to practice listening to native speakers. For immersive practice, apps like HelloTalk and Tandem connect you with native speakers for real conversations. It's like having a language partner wherever you go. The great thing about using technology is that learning becomes interactive and personalized. You can slow down the audio, repeat tricky sections, or adjust playback speed to suit your level. It's an excellent way to track progress and practice at your own pace. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today on the English Fluency Teacher channel. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode and found the tips useful as you work on mastering your listening skills. Remember, understanding native speakers doesn't have to feel out of reach. It's all about practicing consistently and giving yourself patience and kindness as you grow. Every step, no matter how small, is progress. Celebrate every victory because each effort brings you closer to fluency. To quickly recap, today we covered why native speakers can sometimes be challenging to understand and shared practical steps to make it easier. From listening to real conversations and shadowing to breaking speech into chunks and learning to identify accents, we explored useful tools. Don't forget, practice really is the key. The more you use these strategies, the more natural and confident you'll feel. Now it's your turn. Put what you've learned into action. Try rewinding a favorite television scene to listen for connected speech, or spend a few minutes shadowing a clip you love. Every bit of practice makes a difference. Consistency is your best ally. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone else who is learning English. Supporting each other makes the process more rewarding and fun. After all, we're stronger when we learn together. Don't be shy about reaching out. I'd love to hear from you. Which tips are you most excited to try? Or do you have your own strategies for listening improvement? Whether it's a message, a comment, or a social post, feel free to connect with me and share your thoughts. If you tag me, I'll cheer you on and celebrate your progress. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the English Fluency Teacher channel so you won't miss new episodes. Next time, we'll tackle another engaging topic to help you improve English speaking skills and build confidence. I'm here cheering you on every step of the way, and I can't wait to continue this journey together. Thank you again for being here and investing in your English skills. I'm so proud of the effort you're making. Believe in yourself and enjoy the process because you're doing great. Until next time, keep practicing, stay patient, and remember, you've got this. Take care, my friend, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.